Hi, thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made a Evil Eye Granny Square tote bag all by hand, and I'm so excited with how this turned out. I have made a tote bag before using this Granny Square, which is right here, all done with crochet, and then I did hand sew in just a linen liner, and it really added that finishing touch here. And if you want to learn how to make this tote bag or the Granny Square, I will have the pattern to my Etsy below, or you can get it. And now here I am just going to be showing you my vlog of making this crochet tote bag. I of course was watching the March Madness game. I'm a Michigan State alum and wanted to make sure I was cheering on my team while also crocheting away the granny squares. So here I am the next morning getting ready to put everything together, and in order to do it I made sure my tote bag get measured out the same size. So I'll be needing to do a 3x3, which means there'll be 9 granny squares on each side of the tote bag. So if you want to do this and make a similar size tote bag, you'll need to make sure you have 18 in total, 9 side for one and 9 side for another, causing to come together to 18. And here I am crocheting around. The pattern for this is pretty simple. I again will have it linked below. And if you're an intermediate beginner crocheter, you can also do this too. So once you have all your granny squares ready to go, lay it out. I loved how this looked, and it was laying a little bit wider. So I decided I'm gonna do a single crochet to combine it. And in order to combine and attach them together, I was sure to add stitch markers to hold it in place to make sure I knew exactly where I was crocheting into. And definitely you do 3 rows by 3 rows. So making sure you're doing rows and columns all together with single crochet stitches. And so here I am doing that, and every time I got to a corner or even starting, I would do a chain and then a single crochet and another single crochet and then begin just single crochet all the way through. So in those like first and last corners, I would just make sure I did 2 single crochets. And then here I am again doing another row across just filled with single crochets. What I really liked about this pattern is that it was really easy to follow, and you can do this especially even if you're a beginner crocheter. This was really fun to like make a tote bag that I decided to actually buy a liner, or not buy a liner, but I bought just like a regular tote bag to make for this liner. And since Joann's, which is so sad, with going out of business, they had a bunch of like 40 to 50% off tote bags. So I bought like 3 or 4 of them. They're originally like $7, and I think I got them for like 4. So I was like, that's a really good deal, and I don't have to do any more sewing than I need to, because it can be a little bit tedious because I don't have a sewing machine, so I do everything by hand. But that just shows you can make really fun, beautiful crochet creations with liners and functional bags, all with using your own 2 hands. You don't need to have fancy equipment. All you need is just a few tools, yarn, and some thread and a needle. So I thought that was really cool about this. And so here I am, this is what it should start to look like. And also when you're attaching it, make sure that the ugly side is facing out and then the pretty side is facing in. So you can tell the ugly side is the one that have the bumps, and the one that doesn't, that's the pretty side. This will be the one that shows out externally. So I was so excited with how this looks. I then lined it up onto my tote bag that I will be sewing it to, and it fit pretty perfect. And on the bottom, you'll see it might have a little bit of like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch longer than the actual tote bag, but I think that's perfectly fine because then you're eventually gonna crochet it together. But here it is. Once you add the second paneling, I then decided to add stitch markers to hold everything in place so I knew exactly where to start and where to finish for this tote bag. And make sure when you're doing this together that your ugly side is facing out. That's the side with all the strings and such and the ridges that you can see. And in order to do this, I just started off by doing 2 single crochets in that first top corner and then 1 single crochet all the way around. And you'll be doing 1, 2, 3 rounds fully. So you'll be doing 3 sides of that square, if you will, of it together, so that you keep one of the sides open, and that's the top. And once you are done doing that and you have your 3 out of the 4 sides single crochet together, you will then cut and fasten off. I made sure that for every corner that I did 4 single crochets, and that way it would just keep it going more seamlessly. And I was really happy with how this was looking. And so here I am just finishing off doing the last row of single crochet. There we go. And then you turn it inside out so that the pretty side is facing outwards. And here we are pretty much almost done. All we need to do now is just use your darning needle like this and go ahead and sew in and weave in all those miss ends. And now here I am the next night coming together and getting ready to sew in this liner into this bag. I just insert it, making sure that the pretty side is facing out all after I have weaved in the ends. I then grab some white thread and a needle, and I just begin doing a single line stitch and stitching it together into the bag. And I just made sure that as I was doing it, that the very top of the crochet and the bag just met seamlessly, and I was just going to it. And here we are, just seeing me easily just line stitching this bag in together. It's really fun to do this. I really like to put on a TV show or a movie because it's just so effortless. You really don't have to think much about it, and it's kind of calming. Or you call someone. I was chatting with someone on the phone here. I was just like laughing away as I was sewing. Me and my grandma phase of life is taking phone calls and sewing together tote bags. But if you are watching this and you're a beginner, I just want you to know that this is absolutely possible. I just started crocheting about 6 months ago, and I have made so much, and as long as you take time to practice your craft, it just improves tremendously. I was not expecting the first time I ever picked up a crochet hook and yarn, I could not even hold it correctly, and I got so mad. So I kept trying and trying, and after a week of fully giving my all and 100% and hours and hours a day of just learning how to do it, I eventually then you just get the hang of it. And here I am now making my second tote bag ever using an Evil Eye Granny Square that I made, which I'm so excited about. And if you want to get this pattern, learn how to make this bag, you get the pattern plus the additional if you want to turn it into a tote bag. But if you want to turn it into this kind of tote bag with your own inseam like I did, you don't have to worry about sewing an inline or a liner in, then very easy. All you have to do, click on the Etsy link below. It really helps me out too, and I would love to see if you make something. So here we are with the finished tote bag. I have been wearing this everywhere I go. I wear it with my laptop if I go work remotely somewhere, if I go to the gym. I just want to make sure that I get this bag out and about because I work so hard on it. And I think that's so fun about crochet creations is that once you start making them, you can start wearing them and showing them off. And people might ask where you got it, and you might be able to sell them or just get more exposure that you are a fiber artist and creative. So with that being said, I hope you create something great today, and thanks for stopping by and watching me put together this really fun project. I had a blast making this, and I can't wait to see what else I share and make with you guys next. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.